how to create your dream life as a woman entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship can be highly glamorized and seems like this amazing thing to get into. And a lot of people, when they initially start their business, think that, hey, this is gonna be a smooth ride. I'm gonna be living the life that I see people post about on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. And then when they start their own business, they can sometimes fall into patterns of burnout and start to really not even enjoy the business that they built with the idea and the pursuit of freedom in mind. So today I'm going to be talking about how to actually create your dream life as an entrepreneur and the steps that I took to create the life I live today. So a little bit about me if you don't know my story. So I've worked with over 450 women at this point, nearing 500 women, and I've helped them with attracting more clients online, building their business, and building their dream life with that business. And there's some things that I've learned because even though I've worked with that many women, back when I was first starting my own business, around a year in, maybe a year and a half to 2 years in, I started really facing burnout. Now, part of the reason was because of some personal different things that I was actually facing in my life. But another huge part of it was I had workaholism for sure. Meaning I was working 12-hour days. I was working these 6 to 7 days a week. I was going all in my business, and you probably heard this too. If you've been online, they really hype up hustle culture. They really talk about you gotta go all in your business to build the type of business you want. And yes, your business requires work, but a lot of times what happens to people is when they're building their business, they either do a couple things. They structure their business incorrectly, or they don't do other things that I'm going to talk about today. It's going to really help you create your dream life as a woman entrepreneur. Back before I even started my business, actually back when I was in college, I was a member of this Women in Leadership and Philanthropy group. It was an alumni-run group where they also provided scholarships for the women attending college at my university. I was one of their scholars within this organization. And during that time, I actually decided that I didn't want to be successful, which sounds funny because now I help women with creating businesses. How did I go from, hey, I don't want to be successful, to now I help women be successful with their business? And this is exactly what I saw, is this cycle of burnout that so many women fall into. Because the truth is, deep down, if you ask yourself, yes, you want to run a successful business, but does it mean that you want to run a successful business in expense for having a family, in expense of not, enjoying time with friends, an expense of not being able to travel, an expense of so many things that probably make your life feel more full, right? And I remember back when I was in this Women in Leadership and Philanthropy organization, and I saw so many women who had crazy, amazing achievements, right? And I was just a student at the time, but I was noticing all of these women, they seemed so burned out. They were exhausted. They didn't really seem lit up by what they did. And I thought to myself, if this is success, then I want no part of it. And it's funny because I even found myself, I tried the path of I don't want success. And I really just learned that okay, being broke with no money is also really stressful. But then I kind of fell into this pattern when I first started my business of go all out, work hard, achieve amazing things, do all this. And it left me feeling so burnt out. Right? And I did the exact thing that I told myself I wasn't going to do. So how do we find the balance in this? And how do we be successful women who also get to really enjoy their lives? What's really incredible today is I would say that the business and how my business functions today is actually a product of what I really wanted, maybe a year, even 2 years ago. And I can finally say, hey, my business runs the way I truly wanted it to. And so today I'm going to talk about how I did that. right? And in addition to that, I'm going to talk about how I'm laying the groundwork for further dreams that I have for my business so that I can build the vision that I truly want for my life rather than just pursuing success at the expense of everything else that you want in your life. Let's talk foundations first. So 4 things that you need in order to run a successful and profitable business. So this is for you if you're just getting started, or even if you've started running your business, but maybe it's not running in the exact way you want it to. So I see with a lot of people, they just pick what they're passionate about, and this is not necessarily the best thing. You really want it to be a mix of 4 things. So 1, what are you passionate about? What lights you up? What's enjoyable for you? 2, what are you actually really skilled at? What have you helped people with? What do you have experience in? What do you have education in? What would you say? And how can you actually contribute value to the world? Number 3, has to do with, is your niche a niche that has high buying power? So for instance, a big mistake that I see with a lot of people is sometimes they pick niches that are very low in buying power, meaning they're talking to people and they're like, I want to sell budget-friendly meal plans. And then they're shocked when they have a hard time getting people to purchase it because they're selling it to the type of person who is looking for things on a budget, which means they probably don't want to factor you into the budget. Instead of looking for what is a niche that has a high level of buying power that will be able to afford my service. And the 4th thing has to do with, what is the market need? What is something that people truly need right now and are willing to pay money for? Now, if you have all of those 4 things set, then what I really want you to do for yourself, right? Because in today's video, we're not going to talk about marketing. We're not going to talk about sales. If you want more information on marketing and sales, exact strategies for how to get clients and things like that, I have lots of videos on that. Today, instead, we're going to talk about creating the vision that lays the foundation for you getting the vision in your life. So what you want to do with yourself right now is get really, really honest with yourself. And I mean, forget about societal, actual expectations of you, meaning like, society thinks that, I should be able to be this amazing boss lady doing all of these things. Who cares? Or society thinks that it's a bad thing if I do blah, 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 blah. Or society thinks it's a bad thing. Everyone is going to judge you, Lots of people will judge you. It's more important that you become really comfortable with yourself and what you truly want. For instance, with me, I knew that I wanted to be able to make good money in what I did. I knew that I wanted to feel a sense of peace in what I did. And I knew that I really wanted to have a life that I enjoyed. I spent a lot of time in my life just pursuing success for the sake of actually fanning my own ego so that I felt better about myself, so that I felt like I was contributing value to people. And a lot of this wasn't actually very fulfilling for me. Instead, when I found that I was actually enjoying my life, allowing myself to take enjoyment in my life and doing things like that, I created a life that I wanted more, which meant I need to get really honest with myself, which meant that, hey, if I want to be a mom and I want to be able to cook and I want to be able to do these other things and I want to run a business and I want to be able to travel and I want these things, I need to get dead honest with myself. I don't need to think about what other people expect of me. I don't need to think, people are going to think I'm greedy if I want this amount of money. I don't need to think any of those things. Instead, I need to just be truly, truly honest with myself about what I want and forget about what everybody else says. Now, after you've taken the time to think about what you truly want, what you want to do is get clear and write it down. So I did this on accident, actually, before I even started my business. I wrote down in a journal exactly what I wanted. And within a year's time, I had it. Which was kind of insane, right? I was like, I want to run a business. And at the time, I really wanted to live on a farm. This was several years ago. And within a year, I was living on a farm and I had a 6-figure business, right? So what you really want to do is after you've said, this is what I truly want, get yourself out a journal and pin it down. Write down everything you want, right? And be as specific as you want to be. Meaning some people in this process are going to be super specific and know exactly little tiny details of what they want. Whereas other people can, during this journey and during this process of journaling, can actually go through this and be like, okay, I want something like this or better. For instance, I was kind of vague when I first did this exercise, and I didn't even realize I was doing this exercise. I've always been a journaler. So I was just journaling about what I really wanted in my life. And once I got clear on, hey, I want this, then it came into being, right? Now, this is through a process of what is called manifestation. And I actually have exclusive free training videos on manifestation and how to actually go through the 6-step process for yourself. And it's available exclusively inside of my free Facebook group. This is a Facebook group for female entrepreneurs. So if you're interested in manifestation, you want to know the exact 6 steps that I took for using manifestation in my business, then go below in the description, click that link, and go ahead and join the Facebook group, and I'll be sure to welcome you there. A key piece that a lot of people mess up during this whole process is they think of themselves as being close to the reality, or they think of the reality and then thinking of, hey, this is what I want, and it's super far away. Instead, after you've gone through that 6-step manifestation process, what you really want to do is start living today like you have that reality. Okay, this sounds kind of funny, but I found that you really will have what you want in your life, even if it seems eons away. Because I remember when I first started my business, making $50,000 a year sounded insane, and now I have a 7-figure business, which is crazy to think about when I just really wanted to make $50,000 a year. But I digress. So a key step in this is to live the reality you want today, and you'll find that it brings it into being much, much faster. Rather than thinking, oh, I'll almost be there. Being in that energy actually puts you in almost being there all the time. What this allows you to do, and if this sounds like energetic woo-woo nonsense, hear me out for a second. Instead, what this allows you to do is make choices based on the person who is making those 6 or 7 figures, rather than choices based on the person who doesn't make 6 or 7 figures. You're saying, hey, I already make this, and with that, you're taking and you're making choices of what that person would do, which allows you to take better action, it allows you to take more strategic action, and it allows you to actually get what you want much, much, much faster in life. Now, another key aspect that I like to talk about for women is time energy management for women, because a lot of women work like men and then they're shocked that they're burned out. I hear so many women talk about, oh, this is my burnout story, or, oh, I feel exhausted, at the certain times of the month, or, oh, blah, 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 I feel like I have no motivation. And then they're shocked to find out that this actually corresponds with their cycle. So as a woman, it does not actually behoove you to work like a man. And what I mean by that is men have constant energy levels due to how their hormones function, whereas women have energy levels that are different throughout their month depending on where they are in their cycle. So if you're working like a man, working typical hours every single day, you might find it strange that you feel so burnt out at certain times of the month. You're not burnt out. This is just how your body works. And instead of pushing yourself all the time, it's actually better to understand where you are in your cycle, and then in correspondence to that, plan how you run your business around where you are in your cycle. Now, of course, this doesn't always perfectly line up, but this does allow you to be able to take more of a breather during times when you have less energy and feel like you can go fully out, really sell yourself, do a lot of different things that you need to do to get stuff done in your business when your energy levels are at their peak. Okay, next piece of creating your dream life as a woman entrepreneur is you really want to get clear and you want to understand how to manage your money. So this is a further step that I started taking when I thought long term, what do I want my life to look like? Because sure, I want to build a business, but I also want other things for further down in my life. And because of that, I started thinking about how I was going to manage my money, both in my business as well as manage my personal money. And I became a lot more financially literate. And it's something that I'm currently working on becoming more literate in. And what this can allow you to do is be able to create even more of the different dreams that you have for your life. If you're interested more in how to actually utilize your money and have your money work for you, I actually have a video on this where I talk about different money habits that I have. And of course, you don't have to do these, but if you're interested in them and you want to hear more about them, I'll put a card up here that talk about, I believe it's my top 5 money habits, and I believe that's the topic of the video. And I'll put it up in a card somewhere up here. Now, finally, the last piece is crucial. So what I'm going to say is you need to find a mentor who's living the type of life that you want in the future. So don't just pick someone. This is a crucial step here, because before, when I was, a few years back, when I looked for my very first business mentor, he was amazing and he was great at things, but I simply looked at how much money he was making and equated that to experience and success. And yes, he was making a lot of money and he was amazing and he taught me so many things, but it wasn't a great long-term mentor for me because he wasn't really living the type of life I wanted to live. And so when I explained kind of my own desires and what I wanted, it didn't resonate with what was being taught to me. And that's why it's so crucial when you do look for mentorship, and I recommend that everyone has a mentor. When you do look for mentorship, don't only look that they are making money, but instead also look, are they living the type of life that I also want to live? And if those two things align well, then you know you found yourself a great mentor. All right, everybody, I hope this video is helpful for you. Be sure to subscribe. Hit that like button if you liked it. Comment below what you would like me to talk about next. And hit that notification bell because I put out new videos just like this one every single week.